Traders, are you tired of second guessing your exit strategies? Well, today is your lucky day because we're setting up how to plan perfect exits. Stay tuned because by the end of this video, you will have a game-changing exit plan that will totally transform your trading. You ready? Let's go. Well, the first aspect of what we want to do in setting up perfect exits is to remember, start with the end in mind when you're planning your trades out. The exit should all be part of your trading plan. The first thing I tackle whenever I'm setting up my plan is I want to know what is my catastrophic loss. By setting a 5 to 6% catastrophic loss, while that might raise some eyebrows, but don't worry, hang in there. We've taken care of protecting our capital. Now, so let's move on to step number 2. Have multiple profit targets. In other words, what I do is I set up profit targets at profit target number 1 of 10%. And this is standard. I keep it this way on every trade. Profit target number 2. I take out part of the position at 20%. And what you'll find is you'll be light years ahead if you take off a part of the position. For whatever reason, some traders believe you have to hold on to the whole position for the big gain. Learning how to pay yourself as you go will strengthen your ability, plus give you a lot of confidence in your plan, and confidence in yourself. Automatic trailing stop. This is a key part of our AutoPilot trading system, in that as soon as we get 10% in profits, we place a trailing stop on the rest of the shares. What does that do for us? Well, the cool thing about it is as soon as that gets into place, once it's set and we've hit 10% in profits, that trade will never be a losing trade. It just can't be, because we've already taken enough profit off the table. Number 4, audibles. Now, audibles is where you get into a little bit of the art and science of trading. A couple of the audibles that we look at, and we'll jump into and show this on the chart, but one of them is earnings. Earnings are basically an unknown. And unless you have 10% profit in the position you're trading, what I do is I sell out of the position. I just close it out. Why is that? The majority of earnings moves after earnings stay within a 10% envelope, plus or minus 10%. And therefore, if I have a 10% gain on that particular stock or ETF or stock, then the probabilities is that I'll be okay taking it through earnings. Now, I may reduce the position size because I don't want to take on all of that risk, but that's the first thing that we do. Next, swing lows. I find the swing lows, and when the swing lows are above my stop loss, swing lows is where price action should, if they're going to fall to the swing low, that's where it should stop and bounce. And if my stop loss, trailing stop, is below that swing low, well, there's no need to let it run all the way past, the prices run all the way past that swing low to add to the losses. So conserve your capital. And then the last part of that is call an audible. When I have a bearish candlestick reversal pattern, maybe. Let's take a look at an example of when we want to let the ebbs and flows of the stock chart tell us when to get out. Let's jump over to the Thinkorswim platform right now. Okay, here's a perfect example on DRT. This is a position that we are currently in with the AutoPilot Trading Service. And I got an email yesterday from one of our members, and he asked the question. It was a great question too, is should we exit or should we have another plan, given that yesterday's candlestick was a bearish reversal signal that is a shooting star? And so we already had we got into this trade down in this area here. We had taken a 10% profit on it. So what does that mean? Well, that means I'm carrying a trailing stop on this that I will never lose in this trade. So partly I could do nothing and say, okay, I'm not going to change anything because I don't want to be whipsawed around trying to change or manage a position. But I have to ask myself the question, should I, at this particular time, do anything to modify this trade? Not erasing. There we go. Is there anything I should do right now to modify this particular trade? And the answer was no. Now, do I continue? That is on my exit point because I'm carrying a 7.5% trailing stop. If I am stopped out of this, I will make about 8 to 9% on the overall trade. So I'm good with that. And again, I've had to adjust my own mindset to say, that's the way the system works. I'm good with that, and I'm taking profits, and this trade will never be a losing trade. So in this particular trade, I'll be sitting there looking at this and say, where would I consider modifying my standing order? Well, if I drop down here below the 20-day moving average, then next is I want to see, do I have a confirmation? So what happened with BRT, which was one of the top stocks in IBD yesterday? What happened today? Well, as you see, the price did not, just barely drop below yesterday's low and is starting to work its way back up. The other thing that tells me on this particular stop, I don't want to do anything to it right now, is draw a line here so you can see it, is I have a strong level of support because that's a breakout trade. It came back and retested the breakout. Let's see if it continues to pile and move up from there. The next entity that also I received a question on was a stock that we're in, and it's called Guywire, Gwre. Similar type, let me back it up a little bit. Similar type of candlestick, although this uptrend right here, I don't really categorize. I mean, it is, yes, it's an uptrend, but not a real strong uptrend. So yes, I have a shooting star yesterday, as you can see right there. However, it's not a significant shooting star. My current stop losses are down here below this swing low. We talked about it a little earlier. So they're down about $87 and some change. We got into it about $87 and some change. I can give you an exact quote on that. Excuse me, we got into that about $90.25 up here. And so that's where my stop loss is, down below that swing low right there. Well, was there any reason to modify my order? And the answer is no at this particular time because, one, prices are above all the moving averages. It has just broken out of this downtrend line. And so what happens to Guidewire today? Aha, similar type action, continuing to move up up with its uptrend. And so there was no reason to modify my existing order because the order itself was taking care of itself. Now, with price actions moving the way they are, might I want to move up my trailing stop now? At this particular time, I'm going to say no, but I will. This is heighten my alert to pay attention to this, because if I drop and close below the 20, that's when I would take a look at tightening the stop. So I hope that gives you an idea on some of the audibles we would call for the AutoPilot trading service. Well, I tell you, folks, it's an absolutely sad fact that the majority of traders, majority of them, and I hope this doesn't include you, but the majority of them do not know or have an exit plan for the trades once they put them in place. But, I'm hope that now you're pumped up and you know how to perfect your exits to take your trading to the next level. So here's the deal, I put out these tutorials and trading tip videos just so I can help you become a better swing trader. I encourage you, hey, join the Autopilot Trading Squadron of savvy traders who know how to nail those exits. We really do. We focus on that, and I've got a lot of happy people saying, okay, they like taking their profits, and they also like protecting their capital. So, if you will, hey, do me one big, and I got one big ask. Hit the share button so that we can empower other traders with this trading success. Together, we'll master the art of perfect exits, one trade at a time. So, hey, help us share the knowledge. Let's make it happen. And as I like to say, aloha, God bless everybody.